Hello and welcome to the Happy, Healthy, Strong podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you live a happier, healthier, and stronger life. Building a life that you love starts with you owning your health and intentionally creating the best version of yourself. So if you're looking to better understand how proper nutrition, daily movement, mindset work, and strength training can help you create a life full of happiness and health, then you are in the right place. I generally hope that the tips, tricks, and information that we share will be the catalyst for change. I'm your host, Adam Lane. It's time to dive in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Happy, Healthy, Strong podcast. I'm your host, Adam Lane. With me today from the Wellness Refinery, this is Stacey Caler.
Hey.
Stacey, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Two-time guest.
I know, it's scary.
Look at this. That's how you know you've achieved in life.
I made it twice. Woo.
When you're so good that we bring you back.
That's funny.
That's it right there.
Is it?
That is.
Thank you. Thank you for my achievement.
So, Stacey, for the tens of people that listen to the show who might not know who you are and why you're such a big deal, tell these people who you are. If they happen to miss the first podcast, which they shouldn't have, these weirdos, how would they not possibly
be watching?
Listen to your first one, which we actually split into two because we went a little long.
We like to talk to each other.
So how could they have possibly messed this up? But no, for the people that don't, tell people what you do.
So my name is Stacey Caler. I am a nurse practitioner. I focus on functional based care, root cause. I have a clinic in Roscoe called Wellness Refinery. And my goal is to work with patients through education and hopefully some therapies to get them to their best self.
Fantastic. And you have not been up there for that long.
I've been up there almost, it's 2.5 years.
Yeah. And blown it up.
It's fun. I am truly blessed by God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
He is leading me. So
this is awesome.
Good things.
So, Stacey, if people want more, like you do so many different things in which to help people get healthy, because it's not just this one thing.
I wish it was.
Take this one pill.
Oh, Lord.
All you need is testosterone. Never eat bananas again.
Oh, my.
Yeah,
that would be crazy. I like my bananas.
But you could just sell it,
You could.
But you wear many hats with this.
To a point, true.
Yes.
Yeah. I try to simplify my approach in a way that patients can be successful.
Yeah.
If they're not successful, I'm not successful. So I have to make sure that we are touching the points that we need to. You live in that world too.
Yes.
If your clients are not successful, what does that say?
Yes. They don't come back.
They don't. They don't come back sometimes anyways, but still, I can't force them to do what they got to do, because it is truly, I'm like the co-captain. They're the captain of the ship or the plane, as my husband would say. Yeah. I just kind of assist them and help them to find their route. Yeah. So.
Well, and it's interesting how everybody's a little bit different.
Yes,
and
I love it.
Just to say, hey, this is the blanket. Like, I think my buddy Tim Fountain is a very avid mountain biker, and he loves mountain biking. And in the summer, he disappears. I
love it.
Which I'm totally okay with, because Tim is really getting after it. He's mid-40s. Again, he has a kind of active job within construction stuff. He's not pounding the nails the way he used to, but like he's an active guy with some stress in his life, but he's going out and hitting the trails 3, 4, 5 days a week. Does he need a couple hours of strength? I gotta, but he'll be back in the fall like that. So like, so there's stuff like that where like, I don't know. I think people need a grain of salt with and understand that if you're working a 9-to-5 desk job, versus somebody who's working construction, versus somebody who's 30, versus somebody that's 50, versus somebody that's 22, versus women who have had babies, not like there's so many different,
everybody is truly an individual.
Yeah.
Our bodies, our brains, our souls are all so special.
So special. So here, let's get into it.
Okay.
Our topic on today, Stacey.
So many.
That was my soapbox there.
I love it.
Thanks for running with it. It's optimizing your health. For your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s.
Okay. All right.
Do you want to walk through it from 30s to 50s, or how do you want to attack this?
Okay, so I got to give everybody a little heads up. So what he did to me, what this man did to me, was he sent me like 80,000 things
there were
to
20 topics.
Whatever. I exaggerate just a little bit in my life. I have to. So, anyways. I had to do some deep research, or not even so much research as it was putting my thoughts on paper, because as we know, when we're together, we can go a little bit down, a rabbit hole. So we have a goal. We're trying to cover as much as we can in very precise, concise things. So I thought, if it's okay with you, because a lot of the things that 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s all need is very similar. Yeah. Just tweaking. Because, you know, I'm not 20 anymore. I feel like it most of the time, but I'm not. My body can't do. Sometimes I am a weirdo. Sometimes I act like I'm 5. But I thought maybe we could kind of generalize and then specify as we go through. Cool. Okay. So you're asking, what about age groups? First and foremost, we had already mentioned this. As we talked about some of our topics, one thing kind of stood out was that most things can be addressed through some basic changes. Yes. Or just look at. And that was nutrition, exercise, stress level, and sleep. All big things. All big things. We need these things. But you know, I would also throw in there, if that's okay with you, is our spirituality. Can't get there without him. And if you have a different faith, you got to have, you know, whatever it works for you, however you find your journey. Yeah. So, it doesn't have to be incredibly complicated. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It just has to be simple. Any age, your body thrives on simple components, obviously food, sleep, exercise, stress management, and a connection and a purpose. Have you seen a person that doesn't have a purpose before and what they're doing in their life? Yes. And it's sad. It is sad. You know what? I don't even think they realize how that affects them, is not having a goal or a purpose. I like purpose better than goal, because we can all have a goal, but no purpose. Yeah. What does that even mean? I mean, it's crazy. So, some things that we can do to kind of help and intensify how we get to where we got to go. The food. Okay. Let's just face it, you guys. We live in a non-food world. Yeah. And people don't really understand when I say that, but let's think about all the chemicals that we eat. Have you ever looked at the ingredients? I mean, it's on TikTok, it's on all these social medias where they do back in the 80s what food had and what they have now. Yeah. I mean, even something disgusting like Doritos, there was like 4 ingredients, you know, when I was a child in Doritos. I mean, like back in the dark ages. Now there's a paragraph of ingredients. Now, and you can only pronounce about half of them. Dude, too. It's nuts. It's nuts. And I'm like going, you know, there's a reason why Twinkies don't ever get old. Yeah. Because they're not any kind of food source. It's just, some kind of a chemical. Yeah. So look at your food. I'd say there's a ton of apps out there to do ingredient lists, you know, to read and tell you, but I have one in particular. And every time I scan my food, I get so depressed. Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, I can't eat that. Yeah. I got to go find something else, but it's for the betterment of myself. Yeah. So optimize your food. Obviously there's proteins, there's healthy fats. I got to make sure I say healthy fats, and then fiber. So people wonder, well, what's fiber? What's all these things? Well, remember these components are all built in your menu to do more for you. Energy, blood sugar regulation, and also health, right? Wellness. So like when you have somebody comes in and you know they want to build muscle, what are the things you focus on? Foods, right? Food. Yeah. Food and workout. Yeah. Yeah. So proper protein intake. Thank you. Get your fruits and vegetables. Make sure that, again, like you said, the fiber and, that everything flows the way it needs to. I mean, because if we don't have good bowel, then what's happening? We don't have proper detox. We could have gut disruption, all these wonderful things that can lead to more problems. Depression, anxiety, hormonal imbalance. The other thing was, which is big for me as a parent and a grandparent, is limiting the processed foods and the sugars. Much to my grandchildren's chagrin, I don't cook like I used to or bake like I used to when my kids were little because things have changed. You know, plus we have more allergies in our younger people than we've ever had. It's nuts. Yeah. Skin issues. Typically, it is nuts. Bada bing. Oh my God. So it begins. People. So it begins. So nuts. Yes. But which are also can be very healthy, but also can be an allergen. Also can be inflammatory. These kind of things. But the goal of a parent is always to make the kids healthier than they were, right? But now we struggle through the whole, what can my kid eat? It's scary. The processed foods, the toxin levels, molds, metals, blah, blah, blah. It goes on for years. Yeah. But I can tell you, stick with the basics. Yeah. Organic, if you can afford it. Now, there's certain guidelines and there's certain things out there that you can go non-organic and you're still going to get good coverage. Look those up, you guys. Find those out. I'm not going to sit there and reel them out. Other foods, I mean, there's this famous Dirty Dozen out there. Those are things you want to be monitoring. You guys can look those up. The other thing is to optimize your health at any age is the rest. Yeah. The sleep. Oh my Lord, it's so important. And I'm not saying 15 hours like you're a dog or a cat. I'm saying 7 to 8 hours. I'm not that big of a sleeper, but I know when I need to catch up. Yeah. Being an old night nurse, I didn't sleep very much anyways, and the trend has kind of followed me through. But you have to find that 6 to maybe 8 hours. And some people need a little bit more. Some people need a little less, but it depends on their life, right? And their stress level, because when do we regenerate? When do our cells kind of come back to us? When we're sleeping. Yeah.
And if you're more stressed, because I see it during, there are times in my life where like the business is doing this or that. And I just have so many things on my mind. Yeah. To give me an extra 30 minutes, extra hour helps a ton. Same thing with I had a killer workout, I lifted heavy. It felt good. Same thing. I think stress is stress when it comes to that. Like I agree with you need that recovery.
It's a wonderful stress.
Wonderful stress.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah. And some work stress can be a wonderful stress. I mean, you and I both know when you own your own business, there's good things in that business plan or that structure that has good stress, but it can wear on a system. Yeah. We look at all these kids and you've got an amazing training program here, but these kids they either come in with injury, they come in with stress of the game, stress of social issues, parents, family, these things. And that stress can disrupt sleep. You need more restorative sleep at that point. How do we get there? And what should a parent or even us as adults, a strong word, adults using that in a lot of our world. We got to turn off the screens. This screen time that we utilize at night, and I am just as guilty.
You're not perfect? I assumed you were perfect here. We brought in experts, Stacy.
So far, I am not an expert. I am a woman in motion. My biggest thing is at night when you're kind of coming down, you're decompressing your brain, we'll go on our phone. Or we'll turn on the boob tube and we just kind of zone out. Yep. But you know what we're doing is we're not letting our brain kind of come down. We think we are because we're zoning.
We think we are.
But we're actually making it work because we might be reading something or else we find something and then we'd go down a rabbit hole. We could be on our phone or on the TV or on our computer, whatever it might look like, for hours when we were supposed to have gone to bed 3 hours earlier. Turn off. Put it away. There is such a thing as EMF, all these things that can be very negative in the body. So obviously restful restorative sleep comes from turning off the noise. Yeah. Exercise.
When I got my little,
you got the Aura Ring.
When I got the Aura, this is not like the end all be all, but it has gamified sleep for me, because if not, I am amazed how, heck, you can even check your phone and you can see your screen time and just be like, oh my gosh, like
what is wrong with me?
How do you tell me that you're a loser by not telling me that you're a loser? Like, hey, just look at my screen time. You're like, oh, you have no friends and you must be a cat person. Like, it just, like, what is,
Watch it. You might offend some of those cats.
And that's, definitely,
but I get it.
Definitely a dog guy. But like I wake up and check my ring in the morning and the way, okay, what did I do? How did I sleep? What was my deep sleep? Okay, that was good, or it was like, son of a gun, you ate a little bit too late last night, which I'll get in trouble for. If I don't start like the day off with a good breakfast and then hit a good lunch and then hit a dinner at an appropriate time, all of a sudden I'm eating dinner at 9 o'clock at night, and then digestion hits and I'm looking at my deep sleep and it's garbage because I'm still digesting or again,
your body
whatever
stays, it doesn't like you can't eat and then expect everything to turn on.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, what's it going to do? Sit there and just wait until you wake up and start moving again? There's a reason why you don't want to eat late in the evening. Now, granted, there are moments when we all do this, right?
Oh, yeah.
But daggone, if you are eating late at night and then go to bed, not only are you promoting gut disruption and possibly GERD and all that yuckiness, but your motility, I mean, the bowel can be problematic. And then your brain, like you said, never shuts off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, hey, I just had a donut at 9 p.m. Are you kidding me? I had a bowl of ice cream. Like that, you know, I mean, granted, I get it. There's times in our life when we have events or special things, or we're just stressed and we may eat in the evening later than what we normally do. Then go for a walk.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care if it's 10 o'clock at night, go walk around your yard and give yourself about 15 minutes of digestion, because that will intensify the body's ability to do what it needs to do. Yeah. So
I was on the continuous glucose monitor for a little bit, just for fun.
I love
I was curious where I was. That little 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk after a meal helped my blood sugar so much.
It's so easy too.
So easy.
Can you imagine 15 minutes? If you walked for 15 minutes, what does that actually look like? Yeah. I mean, you could walk around the yard with the dog or a cat or whatever you have out there, or your husband or your partner or whatever, or your kids, for crying out loud, because they probably ate junk too. So walk around and just talk. Yeah. Why don't you decompress your brain by meditating or talking to God or talking to your partner and sharing your day? Yeah. Don't just sit in front of the boob tube, put your feet up in the recliner and veg out while you're scarfing down a ginormous bowl of ice cream. Yeah. Just walk. I mean, what's the difference? Oh, I don't know. A lot. Yeah. Yeah. So we've made a little habit literally outside and just kind of around the block. And it's not like it's swirly block, but it's 0.75 of a mile. Perfect. Which is a nice, roughly 15 minutes. Awesome. If we're just a chill walk. This is not a fast walk. Chit-chatting.
Just chit-chatting. Last night, my youngest decided to wear rollerblades as my oldest wanted to throw football. No, there's no helmets. What are we? What
is wrong with me? Why would helmets. I think that? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. You are funny.
No, not my child.
You all heard it.
Did you wear a helmet? You didn't wear a helmet.
Well, we didn't have helmets back then.
Well, see,
it was like the dark ages, dude. I mean, we didn't have rollerblades. We had roller skates. So there was 4 wheels. Yeah. How could you fall?
Almost impossible. Well, now there's 4 wheels. They're just in line.
Yeah, and dude, that's nuts.
But it was fun. So Quinn's trying to run routes in his rollerblades, and Reed's trying to throw a football to him. So
that's great.
It was. I mean, we're really just in this. Anyway, my point is, it has become like just this little standard.
I love that.
Long story short, I think if people can make a habit out of something, like, hey, this is we called it the Old Meadow Loop, because 70% of it is the street Old Meadow. And we go around it. There aren't many cars. It's very quiet.
I love that.
And so I think easy stuff like that, if people can figure out,
you know what you're doing,
something.
You're promoting a healthy wellness habit for your children.
We're trying.
You are, because you've included them in your walk. I mean, you could have said, y'all want to sit and watch TV while mom and I go for a walk. Yeah. No, they
would have done that too.
Well, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's kind of a wonderful thing that when you can include your whole family into it, because then it turns into more of a mission. Yeah. A health and wellness mission. And that's what's important. Yeah. So, okay. So moving your body, we kind of talked about that. Yeah. I would say too, you got to find the joy. I have people that come into me, and I love my world. But I hate exercising, Stacy. Straight up, they will come in and they'll be on the weight management program, or they're getting their hormones ready, or they're trying to get their system back in swing of things. And they'll say right off, the first thing that comes out of their mouth before they even sit down, I hate exercise. I go, well, I do too. You know what? It's not like I want to go. I mean, I love it when I'm there. Yeah. Once I get to where I got to go, but I hate the thought of it. Daggone. But somebody who comes in and says, I hate exercise, never done it, ain't going to do it. So what I simply I just say, okay, then do you hate breathing?
Because you kind of have to do it.
You got to do it, right? So don't look at exercise as I got to go to the gym. Not that I don't want to go to the gym, but if they are just getting into the swing of things, I would say, could you weed your garden? Could you mow your lawn without a riding mower? Could you walk around your cul-de-sac 10 times and talk on your phone to your grandchildren or your daughter or your son? I mean, or could you find a buddy that would walk with you? Because walking is something we do every day.
Yeah.
Right? Or better yet, could you get some exercise bands and sit in your recliner like you so much want to do and do some adductor, abductor work? Could you take it and spread it apart? Make it a challenge. Could you throw down your body on the ground during a commercial and hold a plank for 52 seconds?
Yeah.
Because that's really what I'm asking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not even asking that. You pick up a milk carton. I mean, I don't know many people drink milk anymore, but could you hold it above your head 3 times? Because you know as well as I do, once you start working out, I don't want to call it that, but once you start moving your body, once you have positive movement in your system, what happens? It starts to feel really good.
Yeah.
You get changes, you know, you start to feel better. Those natural, beautiful endorphins are releasing. You like have a high, a good high. Yeah. So movement, love movement.
Can I add to that?
Please.
So when people say I don't like exercise, it saddens me to the point, and this is not me standing on this mountain of fitness and be like, you have to do this. But this is like you've been, because it does feel good.
It does.
Like it does. Like obviously don't kill yourself. No. Don't, God love the people who did the Rockford Ironman on the hottest day of the year.
My son-in-law did the swimming.
Good for him.
Yeah. Awesome sauce. Did really good.
Good.
Yeah.
How was the river?
I wanted to give him, he was on an antibiotic. I put him on ivermectin before he went. I was freaking out.
It's not a bad idea.
I was so worried about that. I told him, I said, could you just wear like a face mask? And then I was worried about every orifice, but no, it went really, really well.
Good.
I mean, he said it was an amazing turnout. What an awesome thing for Rockford.
Awesome thing for Rockford.
Man. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
I still can't believe, because we've had triathlons here before. I did a couple and they had out of rock cut.
Of course you did.
And so.
Of course you did, you rock star.
Well,
I have not.
This is.
I would love to, but no.
I thought it was funny when, like literally I read on Facebook that, hey, the Ironman's coming. I'm telling this to Heather.
Why didn't you do it?
And she's like, well, I sold my bike years ago and stuff like that. Like
you couldn't borrow a bike? I'm just asking. I'm just messing with you, man.
56 miles.
Oh, God, that sounds scary.
But I remember like my Heather's like, where are they going to swim? And as I'm trying to search for it, my oldest says the rock. I'm like, no, dude, shut up. They're not going to swim in the rock. Why would they swim in the rock? It's disgusting. It's down a river. Like, who knows what's in it? I keep reading. Like, they're swimming in the rock. Okay, never mind. I guess they're in the rock. Okay.
I guess we shouldn't. I mean, I've never done a water quality test. I guess I shouldn't say too much, but things happen and it is a river. So it's moving, which is lovely. But they have the ski group that does it all the time. Yeah. And I think that's amazing. But for me personally, rivers, they kind of freak me out. Yeah. I mean, they're always dark. There's dark water in there. I don't know what's down there. Something could get me.
I'm amazed when I raced that there were people that were so confident in the bike and the run, but the swim would freak them out. And I really enjoyed the swim. I had a buddy that swam Division I at Denver, and he taught me how to swim.
Very good.
From high school, and Zach was awesome, and we trained together. And it is funny how that. There are people that just put their head down and go and, grab water and move. And there are other people that are like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would be that person unless I was swimming in a very clear pool.
Yeah.
But so yes, movement.
Sorry. Well, and it's just like, if somebody is like, oh my gosh, I hate exercise. I hate it. I feel like, oh my gosh, you have been so detrained by our society.
That is a good word.
You have just gone through the motions of your whatever job, and you're sitting in your air conditioning, to go to your air conditioning car, into the air conditioned, grocery store, back to your air conditioned home to sleep in your air conditioned. And it's just like the idea of that's, I think of the movie WALL-E, like,
WALL-E.
And it's just
that is so true.
Like because every time you work out, like our people are, I mean this in a nice way, but addicted to it. Like they're
I think
addicted
it's a
to
pretty good addiction.
Yes. Well, and you've seen people that go over the top with it too.
Oh yeah.
And I think I've been guilty of it too. Cause in my younger days, I did the sprint distance triathlons and I'm like, well, what's better than a sprint Olympic? What's better than Olympic? A half, you know? So I did a, handful of halves. I'm like, well, I'll do a full. And I did a full Ironman. And that was a lot. That was a lot of things. And there's no way I could do that with kids and stuff right now. Like there's no,
so it's a big commitment.
It is. But so I'm sorry. My point is it saddens me when somebody's like, well, I hate working out. I'm like, well, if you do it right and just do it appropriately for you where you're at, I'm not saying you have to run Ironmans. Oh. I'm just saying maybe we should squat a little bit and work on a plank and possibly push or pull, a sled nicely. And I bet you're going to feel better tomorrow.
Well, too, don't you find that? I mean, I know we've kind of gotten off topic a little bit about the optimizing. Optimizing your health. But don't you find that a lot of times we aren't meeting ourselves where we are?
Correct.
And that in itself is part of the problem.
Yes.
I mean, you could do that with all the things. We look at, so the simple ways to optimize your health. You've got your food, you've got your sleep, your exercise. And then we're going to get into some more things, but simply just meet you where you are. Yeah. If the food is overwhelming to you, then just make subtle, small changes. Mm-hmm. Subtle, small changes. So, okay, try to increase your protein. Try to cut a little bit of your fat out. Mm-hmm. Not your healthy fat, but your negative fat. Yeah. Try to maybe not eat so much bread. Yeah. Little things can make it. I mean, like you said, if you're coming into the gym and you actually want to work out with a trainer, start small. You don't have to work out for 3 hours, people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who has that time? Yeah. I mean, I know guys that do, and women for that matter. But if you've got 30 minutes, be efficient, be safe. You
can do a lot of good things in 30 minutes. Absolutely.
Have fun, because if you don't find joy, you ain't going to do it. Yeah.
And I think that's where on our end of things, we have gotten more into the personal training, personal programming of stuff, because we have found so many people that when they come to, a small group training class or something like that, and we have the actual specific training going on the day, on the computer screen, and like, it might be perfect for, Richard, who's been here for 7 years. Yeah. It might not be perfect for brand new Lady Sally, who she does 2 sets of squats and she's going to be insanely sore tomorrow. Yeah. And so that I think you have to find, no different than what like what you were just saying with the nutrition, you have to find the appropriate deal for these people. Yeah. And the sad thing is if they get too much right off the bat,
you're done. You lost.
And then they run away and they're like, oh, this fitness thing isn't for me. I'm like, no, it is.
I've seen that with my practice where when patients have come in and they're all focused, they want to change. And so we do the hard rules, Okay, you have to cut gluten and refined sugars. You got to decrease your dairy to kind of decrease your inflammatory markers, and you've got to walk every day. That'll be the last time I see them, because you know what? I told them they had to cut or remove. Yeah. Now it was for their health. I mean, if they had Hashimoto's or whatever it might be, or they had wicked inflammatory markers, or they had gut upset, but they won't, they can't do it. And I failed. I failed as a provider because I did not see that their commitment was there, but it was a scary commitment. Yeah. And that's kind of the thing. So, okay. So we got, food, sleep, exercise, stress. Mm-hmm. We both talked about that. Stress is a killer. Mm-hmm. It can disrupt your hormones. It can disrupt your system as a whole. When you find things to improve on how you handle stress. Now, let's face it. I think people living on a beach all their life and never having to work or whatever, they still have stress. Yep. Okay. Because they got to eat themselves. They got to be healthy, these kind of things. So stress is there. No, I don't care
Hurricanes.
Who you are. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So you have to just find ways that your body and your brain work best with stress, or how to digest it, either through meditation, exercise, walking, talking, therapy, and in some situations, job change. Yeah. That has to happen. Yeah. Life situation changes. I mean, I'm not going to say go out there and, dump people or whatever, but you got to surround yourself with positivity in order to keep positive. Yeah. But you also have to be able to take the negative and find the positive route, or find a less negative route,
Yeah.
right? So why is that important? High stress can destroy your cortisol. Mm-hmm. Same way with sleep. If you don't get good sleep, restorative sleep. So you need to find mindful approach to decreasing stress, or at least handling the stress that you are inundated with. That will help the cortisol. It also will keep your nervous system, which can lead to all sorts of terrible, terrible things. I have people that have all sorts of chronic conditions, autoimmune and everything else, and they're rock stars. But I have people that also come in and their stress level from work or relationship issues, family, health, all these things, and they're a hot mess with head to toe stuff because their cortisol is just basically checked out, and their nervous system is so overwrought that they're not getting any kind of recovery. Yeah. So find a moment for you. Yeah. I don't care if it's sitting in your car jamming out to AC/DC. Mm-hmm. Some of you guys don't know who that is, but it's a band.
Yes. Angus Young, baby.
All the way. Or going for a walk and, listening to nature, or venting on your friend and knowing that friend is there for you no matter what you vent on them, or praying. I mean, let's face it. One of my children was going through some hard times, and they have found their way back to God. And every day it's, Mom, I listened to this prayer today, or this preacher talked to me today. It's like he was talking right to me, and I'm going, yeah, it's crazy how that works. Yeah. If you're going to church and you've had a bad day and you're sitting there listening to the sermon, you're like, get out of my head, man. Yeah. How did you know I was going through that one? I don't know. Think about it. Yeah. So, the other thing about optimizing health.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, please.
So and there's so many different things there, and there's so many stresses. I think hard because I feel like it's like major league pitching. Like, you don't know what pitch is it fastball inside? Is it fastball outside? Am I going to get the change up? Well, they just set up the slider, with that fastball.
Somebody's calling something I don't want to throw.
Like, it's just like, oh my God, all these things. So like, even when you think you figure out the stress piece, like easily tomorrow, something could change and you're right back to something. I recently, and you talk about the friend piece. I recently got into a men's group at church, and there's I think 7 of us. For the most part, we own businesses. We go to the same church, but we meet once a week, and it gets my mind going with things. Love and it. Just like it helps me appreciate them and what they're going through. Helps make me feel better about like the stuff that we're going through. But then, like, we look at everything. We look at, our relationship with Christ and our job and our family and our wife with our relationship and our relationship with our wife. And so my wife has made the comment is that you're a nicer person when you go to this. Yeah. Like, honey, that's not true at all. I've been nice all the time.
Isn't that
She's
fun?
like, well, you might be extra nice then, So it's interesting how,
it grounds you.
Because I do feel that too. Like I really, because we meet early in the morning, and sometimes with being here late at night, I do not want to get up early in the morning because it cuts off my sleep. Like, that is not my normal sleep habit to get up at the time that I have to. But it's insanely enjoyable. So I think that is a thing. If you're able to surround yourself around, like-minded people who lift you up, that is a big deal versus sometimes you're around those people who weigh you down. And
well, you see that with addictions, right?
Yes,
I mean, you have a person who is struggling with any form of addiction. There's a ton of them out there. I'm going to make this as simple as possible. People who have addictions to sugar. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of people come in and they will say, I'm doing really, really good when I'm not home eating around my partner, or when I don't go to work and all these things. And you have to remember, everybody's journey is not yours, right? But it would be really nice, really, really nice if everybody acknowledged your journey. But that ain't going to happen either because it is our journey. So if you can surround yourself with people who are on a similar journey or who have a like mind or support you in your journey, sometimes that can be the most you need. And I can totally get where I have a group of NP friends that I, all in the functional, background. We get together.
NP friends.
Oh my gosh. So funny. Anyways, when I talk with these people, we're all business owners as well. We we all are struggling with the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's not the same thing, it's a different take on things.
Yeah.
So I get it when you say you're around these spiritually minded, Christian based men
Mm-hmm.
who, you may be dog tired, but when you get there, I bet you walk out of there restored.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know that you got 6 other guys or 7 other guys who are, hey man, they're on my team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's like when you're working with your partner, and you and your partner are so in sync. It's like, you're my best friend, man.
Yeah.
You got me. And that's awesome.
Well, and this is where, and you said it, and maybe we just need to highlight it, but like, instead of at night on the phone, at night watching whatever TV, hey, you shut it down and you have the conversation with your partner.
What?
Which,
you mean you talk to each other?
Let's be clear.
Shut
that did not
up.
happen last night. We watched some mindless TV. We did, as a family, watch The Princess Bride.
Oh,
Do you know
love
that
it.
movie?
Oh, yeah. As you wish.
Oh, yes.
As you wish, baby.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
My kid's first experience with Andre the Giant.
What a great guy. I'm so sad he passed away.
Yeah. He's
Awesome.
I think he had a lot of habits that were not going to help him live long.
Not going to be around for long, but what a wonderful thing. Yeah,
and
that
tremendous actor.
Great.
Holy cow,
Man,
he's so funny.
Back in the day, dude. That was back in the day. It's funny you bring that up because my daughter and her husband and my granddaughter just watched that, and she's a big movie buff, and they were messing around, her and her husband, they were messing around saying, as you wish and stuff. So you know what I did? I ordered a t-shirt for him, as you wish, and a coffee cup, because she's a coffee cup collector, as you wish for her.
That's awesome.
Just to throw it back in their face, say, as you wish right here, but I love it. Movie time, as long as it's family time and it's not, what is it? Like, Death Wish or Death Squad or whatever all those things, blood and guts are. I think that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, there's enough blood and guts in our world today. So, but I agree with you. Yeah. I think, wouldn't it be crazy strange if at night you actually, before you went to bed, I think it's so impactful what you said about how you wish people would just turn the boob tube off or turn the phones off or put them down and just talk for a minute. Can you imagine how good it would be for your brain if you had a conversation, about a 30-minute conversation? Could be longer, people. Yeah. At the end of the night, rather than looking at the screen with whomever you're with, partner, kids, friends, and just talked. So that's what I was going to say.
And how often, and my wife and I fall into this too. Like, we'll agree to watch something. Let's watch blah, blah, blah. We'll start to watch something, but then we'll both get out our phones.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, my husband is famous. This is him. He will watch, he'll have the TV on some ungodly news channel. He'll have his laptop in his lap, probably doing some training or something. And then he'll have his phone. Yeah. And I'm like going, what is
how
happening?
Much do you have going on here?
I mean, and I'm like going, and granted, he's a pilot, so he looks at a cockpit that looks like, a spaceship or whatever you want to call it, or a cockpit.
Yeah, this is his world.
And this is what he does. But I'm like going, dude, pick something. Yeah. It's like squirrel. Yeah. With my Rottweilers, like they're all over the place, but that's how he functions. Yeah. And I'm like going, I can't do it. So if I want to talk to him, I really got to say, dude, and then I'm turning things off, because I know that distraction, it's again squirrel. Yeah. But,
and I can get if you're working and you have a bunch of things going on. I'm thinking to myself, like, we're trying to shut down.
Yeah. Let's shut down.
Keyword. But we have TV. We have this, and then let's be clear. Whenever I find something funny on it, I'm showing my wife, like, honey, look at this. Yeah. Look at this right here. I'll send it to you. Just sit next to me. Like, oh my God, like what a waste. But we do that. Like, and again, we all do it. We're not special, No. It happens.
I get it.
Stacey, let's wrap this up.
So the last thing I just wanted to kind of touch base on was one of the things is, you had first wanted to talk about age groups. Okay. I think we have identified.
That's how we get people hooked right there.
We have identified that it all matters. Okay. Simple things, simple changes. But I will tell you that 20s and 30s, build habits now. Do it now. Because they'll carry you through. Yeah. You're not too young to be healthy for your 60s. Yeah. Okay. Just do it now. 40s and 50s. You got to remember that your longevity is everything. Prioritize things. Prioritize your sugar levels. That is a big deal. That is massive. And muscle maintenance. You've got to have a strong skeletal base. Your muscle mass has got to be there for you, because I'm going to say we're all going to fall. Mm-hmm. Dude, I've taken a header so many times, it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. You're going to fall. It's how you get up that matters. Okay. So be strong, 60s plus, foods, nutrients, obviously, hydration should be from birth on up, to be honest with you, and movement and brain health. Okay. Don't give age the upper hand.
Yeah.
Take back and keep it, but you have to motivate it. You have to work it. You don't need to make massive changes. Make subtle, small changes, and you'll succeed better. That's it. That's all I got to say. Stay with one small habit and then build upon that. Mm-hmm. That's it. Bada bing.
Boom. There it is.
Mic drop?
Yes.
We should get a mic and drop it on the table, man.
Take that?
Don't do that. You're going to hurt your face, man.
Into the thing.
That's it. That's it.
No. Well, and Stacey, I do think it's funny that how, the initial title of this and how it's not that much different.
It isn't.
But if you can build those habits when you're younger, while you have less going on.
You're doing that with your children.
We're trying.
I mean, seriously, if we make a healthy 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 9-year-old, 15-year-old, what do you think they're going to be when they're 30?
Yeah.
Or when they're trying to get pregnant?
Yeah.
Or when they're trying to have a good working relationship. If they're healthy on the inside, if they're healthy up here and in their heart and in their soul, man, they're a rock star. They're a rock star. I appreciate your efforts.
Yeah.
No,
thank you. That's
I'm serious, dude.
That's
you know
really
how that's an awesome goal to build a healthy child from the inside out.
Yeah. And that, because then I go down rabbit holes of, a healthy child will then also excel at sport. And let's be clear, they have our genetics. So they kind of have trash can for genetics here. Like,
so they're rock stars.
They're not.
I know your wife, buddy.
They're undersized and,
that's not a thing.
They're going to try. But I do think it's something where, they've had some success, from a athletic wise because they're healthy. Yeah. They have energy. They're,
well, they're healthy in the big spectrum.
Yeah.
And that's, I think we focus on one thing, and it's like, look, you got to look at the whole body.
Yeah.
Mind, body, spirit. That's a thing.
100%.
That wasn't just like a 1970s, voodoo talk. Yeah. That was like, you 100%. Really need to know you.
Yeah.
So, and what better time to do that as you're developing as an individual, a kid.
100%.
So
mic drop. Stacey, people want to find you and all the great things you're doing. Where do they go?
Well, I do have a website, Wellness Refinery, www.wellnessrefineryclinic.com, I think. I don't even know, to be honest with you.
We'll link it up. We'll find it.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And then they can also, I'm in the clinic several days a week. You can also text me. I'll actually give you that number, 815-979-2126. I will be honest with you guys, texting actually is easier for me to respond to because I can usually do it wherever I'm at. Yeah. If you don't get a response right away, don't freak out, man. Mm-hmm. Okay. I got you. Yeah. I will get back to you. But more importantly, whether you find me or not, find somebody who is going to support you in your journey to health and wellness. Yeah. And remember to look high and low and to find somebody who connects with you because you need to be heard.
Yeah.
That's it.
Love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Stacey, thanks for joining us. Listeners, thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. That's all we have for you today. If you have any questions or want to chat or interested in seeing what we're up to in between episodes, head over to Instagram and Facebook and follow @OakStrength. Also check us out at oakstrength.com. If you like this episode, please share it with someone who wants to live happy, healthy, and strong. If you really liked it, subscribe and review the Happy, Healthy, Strong podcast on iTunes or Spotify. Be sure to tune back in next week and remember to keep owning your health.